Before she realized it, the girl was standing before an imposing door. The girl occasionally came to man's aquarium alone. She watched the manta rays, she watched the jellyfish, and finally, she decided it was time to go home. "Where is this?" the girl said. She had her doubts, but there should be nothing else there except for the aquarium. She assured herself that she had probably wandered off onto a side path. The door before her had a large padlock hanging from it. Just as she had heard, it was unlocked and merely dangling there. Gulp. The girl drew in a breath. Being locked would usually mean that it was a place she shouldn't enter. Being open just meant that a staff member had forgotten to lock it, so going in was out of the question. Her curiosity piqued. She was past the point of persuasion. Her imagination ran wild. Her curiosity piqued. She was past the point of persuasion. Her imagination ran wild, and her mind raced at the prospect of what might lie beyond the door. Just for a little bit. She opened the door and saw lots of glass tanks. Several types of fish hailing from the deep seas, from football fish and oarfish to pelican eels and barrel eyes, were swimming about. Why isn't this an exhibit? She thought it over, wondering why this would be in a closed-off area. Behind her, the door shut on its own. The girl spaced out, staring at the deep-sea fish swimming about. They would leap from the tank and swim in mid-air. The entirety of the room was the fish and their ocean. Though it wasn't a natural occurrence, the girl treated it as quite normal. Wasn't there originally a deep-sea fish booth that was shut down? She suddenly remembered. At that moment, her surroundings were dyed a deep red. The water in the tanks, the fluorescent lights, all of it was red. The girl's vision also became red. When she opened her eyes, the girl was back in her own room. It was well into the night. She couldn't remember how she had gotten home after all of that. But, more importantly, she had a bad feeling about something else. It isn't red here. She became aware of how hard it suddenly was to breathe. No matter how hard she gasped, she was unable to get oxygen into her body. Like the fish who couldn't breathe anywhere but in the water. She couldn't breathe unless she was inside that red collar. She was convinced. On impulse, she threw open the window, leaned out, and thrust a hand outside. She couldn't inhale the wind flooding into her room. She could only smell its milky, unpleasant scent. More. At that moment, the girl's body was tossed into the air. For just a second, her body seemed to float like a fish in the sea. Her room was on the 12th floor of her apartment building. In her fading consciousness, the girl watched her blood flow endlessly from her body. It's red. Only then could she breathe. Now, everything would be fine. The girl smiled. The full moon in the night sky smiled too. Drip, drip. The sound of falling drops. The moon was concealed behind the clouds, and all of the lights in the town were covered in water. The sound of it, the only thing left to resonate. She couldn't tell whether it was hot or cold, merely that the humid air was encircling her. Drip, drip. Wherever they were falling to, wherever they were coming from, the drops just continued to trickle out. That single drop. I stopped it with both my hands. The sound of that solitary red drop. Ah, but that's only the beginning. See, I've tricked you into listening to the opening of a visual novel called Sound of Drop. I'll be playing this visual novel completely fully on my secondary channel, Entertainment, so click there, go and see if you enjoy it. It might be something a little different from what you expect, and definitely episode 1 does not have a lot of horror in it. But for what I've heard, it is pretty damn brutal. So, if you do not know what a visual novel is basically a book in a game with illustrations. That is all it is, and I will be commentating and narrating over it. So if you would like to see that, then please click this link over here, subscribe to that channel, and you will be updated on when those are uploaded. This will replace today's video, but I promise that other uploads of this game will not replace uploads on this channel. I will still be making my stories every 2 days, and everything is going to be absolutely peachy. So I hope to see you there, ladies and gentlemen, and I will see you all later. Have a good day!